but the guides wait. Life watches on, watching the eons roll by, as the simulator created personal selves transition from lifetime to lifetime and build their consciousness, store all their experiences, until that time that experiential saturation is attained, demonstrated by how individuals start to reach for more. Experiment in the simulator more than ever before, and put out a collective want, a cause for more. This cause must have the effect, the experience to follow, as is the nature of the simulator, the experience then reflecting the nature of the want, a want to be more. Agreement is secured then that allows the is to feature in the simulator, or this particular simulator at any rate, as there are endless versions at different stages and states of collective consciousness. It falls upon the individual chosen by the guides, the one best suited for the task, to provide as best as is able the super knowledge of creation, its function, its mechanics, and information references of the all is, and the real purpose of every individual. Every individual has their real self, waiting to be acknowledged, and a connection to the real self is afforded, a connection to the real universes of the true light reality that the real self resides in. At this time, the connection is the New You song. With agreement and willingness by an individual, the connection made with the New You song, the assistance of the universal guides, a process of recognition can begin. We now can say that individuals taking this on are becoming more aware, connecting with their real selves, and so have real awareness. As moments pass, with focus and embracing the real intent, which can only be accepted if one is connecting with the real self, as the created personal self will generally only seek to exact intent and objectives in keeping with its wants and creational thrill-seeking ideas. As moments pass, a slow, gradual recognition of the is can be so, assuming focus is maintained, experience catalogued in the causal vehicle, experience of all lifetimes lived in the simulator, and experience now provided by the real guides, is used as comparisons to afford recognition of the is. Unlike in the simulator, where the body vehicles have the facility to perceive the life levels they correspond with, nothing of the personal created self and the 5 bodies it incorporates can perceive the is. It becomes then a recognition, and an effective means of doing so is to vacillate between various viewpoints and positions, alternating between the personal self and the various parts it comprises, through to being shown glimpses of the real universes, and gradually the subtle differences can be appreciated, and the means by which one can be with the ears realized. The ability to recognize it no easy undertaking, and it falls on each individual to learn to recognize the ears, to see what it sees, to use the sun as a demonstration of how to simply be. Being isness, beyond the ponderings of the mind and sensual yearnings of the emotions. And eventually, with focus and determination, the ears may be recognized, and how one may stand real with it, to stand real with the universal guides, and for that individual, the creational matrix and the created vehicles used within it serve no further purpose. They were designed for experience generating, to bring the personal self to a point of wanting more than the experiences within a simulator, that want then an agreement for assistance in an endeavour difficult to quantify by the personal self, but an agreement that allowed the real guides to feature in the individual's experience, as the guides recognize this risk-taking courage and afford the opportunity. And if the individual stays the course, sees the process of awareness through to recognition of the ears, creation for that individual is no longer required and superseded, as the individual becomes what they already were, a true being of real light, standing with the ears. Throughout this process, knowledge is gleaned about creation. These age-old questions can be answered, these ponderings resolved, for with awareness, with the new you song connection, an individual has far more freedom to explore creation when they place the physical vehicle aside for their sleep period. What was once considered dreams by those unaware who lack the connection to the ears, who were not ready for such an opportunity, or simply refused it, now becomes what we term the real side. The unaware will still have dreams and still be exploring, but in a far more limited way, and as such it's unlikely they will ever resolve the secrets of creation, as it were, assuming they even have an interest to do so. For the risk-takers, for those accepted by the universal guides, the dream arena is blown wide open. Exploration is far more expansive. The guides will take the individuals throughout creation, and to its most far-flung regions. A super training will begin, and is continuous, even as we have our awareness in our physical bodies, as we go about our physical lives. The training continues, as everything is. And so, everything in fact is happening in every new moment. It's just our awareness that focuses in specific areas, vehicles, and life levels. Were we fully connected with our real selves and beyond the simulator, we would be everywhere and everything simultaneously, the being isness state. But in the meanwhile, as we have our simulator dwelling created personal selves, our focus, our awareness, can only be in each experience we walk through on the physical level. Each experience we have decided and agreed upon. The real side is more expansive. We can begin to experience simultaneous happenings. We can jump from scene to scene without the necessity of travel, distance and time. That is the restriction of the personal self and the physical life level. Instead of sequential, segregated experience, we can ping all over creation on the real side, with the connection we now have to our real awareness and real selves. There must, of course, be a little by way of sequence, for we must realistically bring our experiences back with us to our personal selves, as the experiences, the evaluations of them, the recognition of what is demonstrated within them is required for our real awareness and recognition of the is purposes. If we are able to be as objective as we can within the experiences, as the real side becomes so, with our connection to our real selves, our real awareness, the same recognition that is required for the is needed to fully interpret the real side dreams also. It seems then it is the personal self, and the extent to which it is connected with, that will block the full recognition of the real side adventures and demonstrations at the point of delivery, that we can't understand them or even experience them in any way like they actually are. Or on returning to the physical level, we may be unable to recollect them or decipher them, again according to the connection we are choosing to have with our personal selves. We are literally getting in our own way, or allowing our creation to stand in our way, and recognition of the real side experiences are diminished. as they must filter through the various faculties, mind, emotions, etc., of the created self, that obscures the recognition, a recognition that is dependent upon the extent by which we are able to be connected with our real selves, our real awareness. That is why we refer to the dreams now as real and on the real side, for the nature of our exploration now is very much from the real self perspective, with our real awareness, and recognition then is required, as much as recognition would be required to see and be with the ears. The real side, and what we experience there, will be according to our ability to recognize it, and the trick is to be able to bring it back and record it with as much real awareness connection as we can maintain, that we can best receive what the dream was demonstrating for us. So it can be that an individual could have exactly the same experience 3 nights in a row, and if in each case the individual had a different degree of real self and awareness connection, the recognition of the experience could vary accordingly, and so the same experience could seem to be 3 completely different experiences in accordance with the connection to the real self, and the ability to recognize the experience, the extent to which the personal created self was connected to and obscured the experience. But regardless, the real guides are constantly demonstrating awareness-provoking scenes and situations, creating whole arenas of experience for our awareness, like making movie sets, so we might recognize what it is the guides are trying to convey to us. They are also taking us across creation, that we become familiar with the life levels, that we can recognize the subtle differences, that we can acclimatize to and perceive them. For if our awareness is predominantly of the physical and astral life levels, which for most will be the case, our awareness never strays much into the other subtle parts of ourselves, and the life levels corresponding with them. We would be unpracticed in the ability to perceive much beyond the astral, and for some, even the astral level may seem a hazy, dream-like place, according to an individual's personal exploration and focus. Each vehicle has the ability to perceive its life level, but we need a little practice in having our awareness within seldomly visited positions. And so, with our awareness expanding demonstrations, with our creational explorations, courtesy of the real guides, We also will have training of the nature of the simulator, its key aspects, and all that it comprises of.